Hello there, curious kindergartners. It's Miss Chaniwa back to do some more math with you today. Let's get started today with a little bit of a brain teaser. This one is called Which One Doesn't Belong? And I really liked it because it used dominoes, which we used in our last video, if you remember. So let's look at the 4 dominoes here. And you pick one. Tell me which one doesn't belong. Which one is super different from the other ones? Miss Chaniwa loves Which One Doesn't Belong because they're all really different from each other. So that means you could have picked any of the 4 dominoes as the one that doesn't belong. You just have to be able to tell me why. So maybe you picked the domino in the upper left corner because you saw that it's the only one that has more than 5 dots on it. Maybe you picked the one in the upper right corner because you noticed it's the only one where there's a dot in the middle in the bottom half of the domino. You could have picked any of them, and that's okay. I just want to know why. What makes your domino so different from the other ones? If there's someone in the room, turn and talk to them now and tell them, why does your domino not belong? If there's no one in the room, it's okay to just talk to me. I'm a good listener. Before we start, I want to show you something cool that I learned that really helps me with my parts and wholes. It's called counting the math way. Can I show you? I need you to use both hands with me today, and you're going to mirror what you see me doing. That means I want you to start counting on your left pinky. Ready? This is 1. Keep counting with me. 2. 3. Don't let Miss Chaniwa trick you. 4. Awesome. Make sure you're showing me 5, the math way. That's really tricky because that's not how I'm used to counting. So, close them back up. Show me 5 the math way. Let's make sure we see what those look like. Look down at your hands as you're counting. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Miss Chaniwa really likes this way of counting because just like on my number paths, the numbers get bigger as I move from left to right. So this is a really helpful way for me to remember my numbers and their order and how to put them together and take them apart. So let's practice really quickly, okay? Close up both hands. I want you to show me 2, the math way. Very nice. Close them up. Show me 3, the math way. Close them up. Show me 6, the math way. Close them up. Show me 1, the math way. Close them up. Very good. 8 the math way. Close them up. Show me 5 the math way. Close them up. One more. Show me 9 the math way. That one's tricky. That last finger doesn't like to stay up. Good. Close them up. And give yourself a pat on the back. Very good. By the end of today, I want you to be able to say, I can describe parts in a set up to 5. You're going to hear me using some words a lot today that I want to make sure we all know what they mean. The first one you're going to hear me say a lot is part. A part is some, but not all of something. So if we look at our basket of apples here, part of them are red. That means some are red, but not all of them. I'll also use the word whole a lot. A whole means all of something. So if we look at our basket of apples, the whole basket is filled with apples. Here's some questions I want you to keep thinking about when you're doing your work for today. I want you to be asking yourself, what parts are there? How many are there all together? How does knowing the parts help us to tell the whole? And how does knowing the whole help us to tell the parts? Today, we're going to be playing a game called the bowl game. To play, you're going to need to go get a few things. Don't worry, I'll wait for you. First, you need a bowl or a cup that you can't see through. Second, you need 5 small objects that will fit underneath the cup. This could be anything. You may go get some paper clips. You may get a couple of small toys. Miss Chinawa had a game that had these beads in them, so I'm going to use these. But anything small enough that 5 of them could be covered by your cup or bowl is fine. Go ahead and grab your bowl and your 5 objects. I'll wait. All right, my capable kindergartners, have you got all your stuff? Awesome. For today's activity, in this column, it tells you how many to start with. So for the first couple, we're gonna start with 2. That means you need 2 of your small objects. The other 3, put them to the side. We'll use them later, okay? So you just need 2. Okay. Now we're gonna go in each row. And each row tells you how many to cover. So this one says cover 0. Let Miss Chaniwa show you what I'm going to do to cover 0. Okay. I'm going to share my document camera with you. Let's make it a little bigger so you can see. So Miss Chaniwa's got 2. Okay. It says to cover 0, that means none. So I'm going to put my cup over here so that it's not covering 2. Now I need to make a sentence. It says is and So I need to know 2 is, what are my 2 parts? So I have 2 altogether. That's, let's look. 2 that are not covered and 0 that are covered. 2 is 2 and 0. 2 is 2 and 0. Now I'm going to start with 2 and cover 1. And I need to figure out what's my whole and what are my 2 parts. Well, let's see. I need to start with 2. Here we have it. Those are my 2. This time I need to cover 1. So I'm just going to make sure that one of them is covered, but I can still see the other one. All together, how many do I have on my page? Yeah, there's still 2 of them, but that is broken up now into parts. The part I can see, which is 1, and the part that I covered, which is 1. So 2 is 1 and 1. Let me write that down on my paper. 2 is 1 and 1. Can you do the same thing with starting with 2 and covering 2? Then tell me your whole and the parts that you have made. I'll wait. Finish up your thinking. We'll come back together in 10 seconds. What answers did you get? How many in total did you have? 2. So 2 is what parts? Start with the part that is uncovered. 0. And how many are covered? 2. Good. Can you tell me the sentence? 2 is and 2 is 0 and 2. Fantastic. You can keep playing the game with more objects. So now let's use 3. And if I look back at my chart, you'll notice that the first line tells you to cover 0 again. So let me show you how I would show that. I'm starting with 3, and I'm going to cover 0. Remember, when you're making your sentence, you're starting with your total. So in total on my page, I have 3. 3 is, and when I tell my parts, I want to start with the part that's uncovered. So 3 is 3 and 0. Keep going. You can show the parts of 3 in lots of different ways. Use the chart to organize your thinking. As you cover each one, make sure that you fill out the sentence. You can finish this chart now. I'll wait. You've got 1 minute left to work. Finish up your thinking. We'll come back together in 10 seconds. All right, keen kindergartners. Let's see if you're doing this right before I let you try some trickier numbers. Let's start with this row here. Our total is how many? 3. Have you noticed a pattern on your page? We're always starting with the total that we started with according to our table. When we covered 0, how many were left uncovered? 3. And 0 were covered. Fantastic. How about this one? 3 is how many and 1? 3 is and 1. Very nice. All right, I think you're ready to try this with 4 or 5. Start with 4 and cover some up. Then start with 5 and cover some up. When you're done, come back and we'll check to make sure your thinking was right on track. I'll wait for you. got 1 minute left to work. Now try it with 5 objects. You've got 1 minute left to work. Finish up your thinking. We'll come back together in 10 seconds. How'd it go? Did you find out some interesting patterns about the parts and wholes to 4 and 5? Let's see now. We'll do just a couple, not all of them. Okay? Let's try this one, right in the middle. We started with how many? 4. We covered 2. How many were left uncovered? 2. You're right. 4 is 2 and 2. 2 and 2 make 4. Awesome. Let's do the next one. We started with 4 and we covered 3. How many were left uncovered? Can you tell me the number sentence? 4 is 1 and 3. Very good. Last one for the 4s. Let's try the bottom one. We started with, we covered up, and uncovered we had. Excellent. So 4 is good. Now I want you to try talking about it on your own for the 5s. Okay? So let's start with the first one you did for fives, where you started with 5 and you covered up 0. Can you tell me the 2 parts that you had? That's right. You had one part that was covered. That was how many? 0. And you had one part that was uncovered. That was how many? 5. And your whole altogether was 5 of your objects. Fantastic. Let's skip down a couple. And I'd like you to tell me about the parts when you covered up 3. What were your parts? 3 what? 3 covered. Excellent. And 2 what? 2 uncovered. Fantastic job describing those parts. What was my whole? 5. You're exactly correct because that's what we started with. Go ahead and say the whole sentence for me now. Awesome work. We're gonna stop here. You can keep playing this game as much as you want to and practice talking about the parts that you're making. Miss Chaniwa told you that at the end of today, I want you to be able to say, I can describe parts in a set up to 5. What do you think? Thumbs up or thumbs down? Did we meet our goal for today? Yeah, thumbs up. You did lots of describing parts in sets all the way up to 5. You did a great job. When we describe the parts of a whole, it's important that we notice or make different groups, like we did when we covered things with a cup or a bowl. Then we can tell how many are in one group and how many are in the other using words to describe the different groups. In this case, we talked about how many were covered and how many were uncovered. Want to keep practicing? Miss Chaniwa always says, practice makes permanent. So the more you practice, the better you'll be at this. You'll start to just remember these part-whole relationships without actually counting. And that's awesome. Want a little bit of a challenge? Play this game with someone at home and have them hide some without telling you. So look on the screen now. Miss Chaniwa started with 5 marbles. Can you guess how many are under the cup? How many are covered right now? You'll have to use the part that you can see to help you figure out the part that's under the cup. If I know my whole is 5 and part of them is 1, the other part is 4. You can play along with a partner at home and practice learning all of your part-whole relationships to 5. I want to thank you so much for working with me today. You did so much mathematical thinking and you kept on kicking straight through it, kindergartners. I will see you again very soon. Bye.